Today, a new trailer for Venom, Let There Be Carnage was released, so I'm going to break it down frame by frame. I will, however, not discuss shots from the first trailer, since we have already broken that one down on the channel. So if you haven't seen it yet, make sure to go check it out. I'm pretty sure it's the first video on the channel, so just scroll all the way down, and if you want to see what we thought of that trailer, make sure to go there. Before I get into it, please remember to like and subscribe, and follow DM Reviews on Twitter. Link should be in the description. Also, don't forget to check out Demerit Commissions in the Discord server below for great thumbnails, profile pictures, phone backgrounds, and so much more. The first thing we hear in the trailer is Cletus Cassidy, who will become Carnage, say that all he has ever wanted in the world is Carnage. My guess is that this is what will make him so attracted to the idea of having the symbiote. It will allow him to cause carnage. When Eddie causes carnage with the Venom symbiote, that's something he regrets and he doesn't want to do it. Whereas Cletus Cassidy is excited by this, and I think we're going to see a great contrast of their two characters through their reactions to their symbiotes causing carnage. We then hear Venom tell Eddie that they should be eating bad guys because he's a predator. It seems that in this movie, we could see Eddie kind of try to domesticate Venom and make him more tame. Eddie tells him that he is worried they will be taking Area 51. I'd be very interested to see if they do a storyline that by stopping Carnage by using Venom, Eddie is then detained because he made the heroic sacrifice and showed that he has Venom, and maybe that upset people and they want to study him. I mean, I feel like that would have happened in the first movie, and this is probably more of a throwaway line, but it would be kind of interesting to see if he's detained by it and he doesn't let Venom stop them. We then see Venom break Eddie's nose, and Venom says, "I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me." Maybe since he can't eat people, he has a pent-up aggression, and he's taking it out on Eddie. This is just one more way that Eddie is being the hero here, and even though it would make his life a lot easier if he just had let Venom eat people, he doesn't, even though it makes his life a lot worse, Venom's hurting him, stuff like that. And, as we see later in the trailer, he makes Eddie punch his ex-girlfriend's new fiance, and this is just, kind of ruining his life, but he's allowing it to happen because he doesn't want to hurt other people. Then we see Cletus bite Eddie's thumb area, and while Eddie walks away, we hear Cletus say, "I've tasted blood before," and that is not it. Firstly, this means we're likely dealing with a cannibal here. I don't know if that's like he is in the comics, but it seems like that's what we're dealing with. And secondly, this means that Venom is kind of in Eddie's blood and Eddie's bloodstream, and or he just changed his blood. So this could be how Cletus figures out that Eddie is Venom, and maybe he got some of Venom in him, in Cletus, and that's why Carnage was wanted him to be his host. Notice that in this scene, they're just talking, while Cletus is in jail, and they've already been in shots in the trailer, so it seems Eddie's interviewing Cletus, so maybe this is Eddie searching up Cletus's past crime. We've seen shots in the trailer of Eddie searching up Cletus's past crimes, maybe Eddie was already looking into Cletus for whatever reason, and that could provide further personal conflict between the two. And there's stuff later that shows that there might actually be a very deep connection between the two characters. So, it seems like they're not just two people who have a symbiote who are fighting. There is a connection between the two. There's then a scene that we see where Carnage breaks out of prison. We saw shots of a similar scene in the trailer outside of a prison, so this is right before that happens, and this can maybe be the Ravencroft Institute from the comics, and because we do see a sign for that in the trailer, and in the comics that's a jail for criminals with superhuman abilities. So maybe they took him there to put the symbiote in him, because I don't think Cletus has any abilities on his own. He only gets them once he has Carnage. So maybe once they were going to put the Carnage symbiote in him, they took him to the Ravencroft Institute, and that's why he's there, and then that's where he's breaking out from. We then hear Cletus say that he isn't crazy, but he is vengeful, and while he looks at a picture that says "Love Anne" with a picture of a girl on it holding a cat. This could be his daughter, probably not his mother, and maybe her murder is what drove him to becoming a serial killer. But Eddie's ex-girlfriend, played by Michelle Williams, I believe, and we see her later in the trailer, and she's now engaged, but her name is Anne, I think, from last one. So maybe they're siblings, and that could maybe be the personal connection between the two characters. That a lot of Spider-Man movies have that for sure, but a lot of super movies try to have some sort of personal connection between the hero and the villain. So maybe this could be it. We then see Venom get scared of Carnage and kind of retract, so they were just leaving Eddie to face Carnage alone. So then Eddie bribes Venom to come out, telling him that he can eat anybody he wants. It'd be very funny if we see the ending scene be Eddie has to explain to Venom that he can't just eat anybody he wants now. But what's more interesting is that Carnage waited for Venom. He could have he has those spikes he shoots, so he could have just killed Eddie, but he didn't. And I think this kind of I'm going to talk about this soon, but it seems like Cletus likes Eddie, kind of, like he enjoys the fight, so maybe he wanted to wait for Carnage so we could have, like, a fair fight, because he enjoys fighting him. So what I was talking about before, so, like, we hear Cletus tell Eddie that he feels like he's home when he's around him, and then he also says that Eddie is like family. Maybe Cletus is just so messed up that amid all the fighting, he starts to like Eddie, and he doesn't really want to kill him because he wants to continue fighting him and Venom. Maybe he enjoys having an adversary who can actually put up a fight against him. Because I know, like, Joker kind of, in some interpretations, likes to fight Batman. And you, kind of like in the Lego Batman movie, I know they really went into that. And this character was actually modeled after the Joker by the artist Eric Larson. So maybe we could see some sort of similarities there. But it's very possible that he maybe doesn't even want to kill Eddie just because he wants to keep fighting him, and he knows that, like, if he kills him, nobody else is going to be able to put up a fight against him. And this could be one reason why I don't think this is in the MCU, because if this was in the MCU, the idea that he would think, like, I need somebody to fight, and clearly that's not Eddie, like, that wouldn't be the situation, because, he needs somebody to fight and there's nobody else to fight me. Because that wouldn't be the situation, because in the MCU, he'd have all these superheroes, so he'd be like, I can kill Eddie because there will be more of them. So and I know that they said Morbius is not going to be in the MCU, so I really don't think this is the MCU, even though we've seen, like, the Daily Bugle things, and there was, like, some Spider-Man Easter eggs in the last trailer we discussed, so I really don't think this is in the MCU. So we then see Anne, Eddie's ex-girlfriend, that she's gotten engaged, and Eddie has trouble being happy for her. I've noticed that I'm pretty sure they're in the same place as they were in the last movie on a date, so maybe he thinks, like, maybe she called him and said, like, I want to meet you there, and he thinks, we're going to get back together. And that's why he's so confused by this, because he was just caught off guard, because he was expecting her to say, I want to get back together, but instead she's saying, I'm engaged now. So then Venom makes Eddie hit her fiancé, and it's clear that Venom has a lot of power over Eddie and how he acts, even when he isn't Venom, like, even when he looks like Eddie Brock, he still kind of controls how he acts, and he's trying to get him to stand up for himself. Like, after he, like, punches Eddie in the face, he calls him a loser, so it seems like he's really trying to get Eddie to stand up for himself. So that could be something we see. And it seems like this movie is really going to focus on the relationship between Eddie and Venom, and just, kind of like an old married couple, as we discussed in the last trailer breakdown. So make sure to check out that video, and make sure to comment what you thought of this trailer, and if you're excited for the new Venom movie.